This city is home to some of the most well-known tourist attractions in the world. However, it also has more than 70 neighborhoods that are all well worth exploring due to the restaurants, bars, and overall atmosphere. Home to ketchupless hot dogs, the first LGBTQ black woman as mayor of any major US city, and the almighty bean, we're heading to the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. Jacob here. Welcome to Destinations Explained, a fun series I do that dives into destinations from around the world. If you haven't already, like this video, watch till the end, and down below, comment any places I missed. In the mid-18th century, the area of current-day Chicago was inhabited by the Potawatomi. Jean-Baptiste Pointe-du-Sable, an African-American trader, was the first non-indigenous permanent settler in the area, establishing Chicago in the 1780s. By 1833, the Potawatomi were forcibly removed and sent west of the Mississippi River. Chicago's first railway and the construction of the Illinois and Michigan Canal in 1848 made it a vital transportation center between the eastern and western U.S., attracting rural inhabitants and immigrants. Chicago gained national political prominence when Abraham Lincoln was nominated in Chicago for U.S. President in 1860. Steel skeleton construction was used to build the world's first skyscraper, which was erected downtown in 1885. Chicago's economy attracted immigrants from Europe, and by 1900, more than 75% of the residents were either foreign-born or from foreign relatives. During and after World War I, a large number of jobs attracted African Americans from the South, increasing Chicago's African American population by 430%, having a huge cultural impact. This led to racial tensions and violence, including the 1919 Chicago race riot. Soon after, Al Capone rose to power during Prohibition, and over 50% of Chicago's industrial jobs were lost during the Great Depression. Chicago still thrived though, producing more steel than the UK and Nazi Germany during World War II, causing a second, larger migration from the South. Okay, I'm historyed out. I think you get the point. I know you want to hear about deep dish pizza and where they get all that wind from, so let's wrap this up. Today, Chicago is the third most populous city in the US, with over 2.7 million people, and a metro population of almost 10 million. Summers here are warm, humid, and wet, with an average high of 82 degrees Fahrenheit and an average low of 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Winters are freezing, snowy, and windy, with an average high of 33 degrees Fahrenheit to an average low of 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Lyft and Uber are available, as in most cities, and for cycling, Divvy has over 500 public bike racks, including classics, e-bikes, or my favorite, the pedal assist bikes. Zagster, Lime Bike, and scooters are also dockless options. The CTA, Chicago Transit Authority, operates the L and the bus system. Purchase a Ventra card at any L station and load it with money to use on the L and buses. Or even easier, download the Ventra app to scan with your phone and load money and check arrival and departure information. With that, let's head to the first tourist spot on this list. Chicago is famous for its skyline and architecture, and there's actual ways to enjoy it besides pointing at them and going, ooh, neat. So let's check out the first tourist stop, or stops in this case. There's 2 observation decks you can visit to take in the stunning views of the Chicago skyline and more, Skydeck Chicago and 360 Chicago. Both offer distinctive vistas but are only 2 miles apart. Let's start with the most popular, Skydeck Chicago. Located 1,353 feet up on the 103rd floor of the former Sears Tower, the Skydeck offers views extending to 4 states through clear observation boxes. Inclusive with the price of admission is the Ledge, a glass balcony that extends 4 feet outside of the building for optimal views. My personal favorite is the 360 Chicago, located 1,000 feet up on the 94th floor of the John Hancock Building. You can take in breathtaking panoramic views above the famed Magnificent Mile. Upgrade your visit with the Tilt Experience, where you're literally tilted downward in a glass box over the edge of the building to take in the views from 1,000 feet up. Both places are open from day to night, and I would just recommend buying tickets online before going. This next location is unquestionably one of the first that springs to mind when you think of Chicago. Located in the heart of downtown and a few blocks from Lake Michigan is this 25-acre green space with so much to offer in and around Millennium Park. Undoubtedly, the most known attraction at the park is Cloud Gate, a huge outdoor sculpture shaped like a bean that allows for views from its many mirrored sides. The park is also home to the Crown Fountain, an interactive work of public art that utilizes water and video displayed on two 50-foot glass towers with a black granite reflecting pool between. The park is home to the Lurie Garden, a botanical garden that spans 5 acres, and during the winter months, there's Millennium Park Ice Rink for ice skating. Connecting Millennium Park to Maggie Daley Park is the PB Pedestrian Bridge, a winding 925-foot bridge with stainless steel panels. Maggie Daley Park itself is a popular recreational area that has a rock climbing wall, mini golf, a play garden, scooter and rollerblade rentals, as well as Maggie Daley Park ice skating ribbon. Lastly, just a bit south is Grant Park, which is 319 acres and home to one of the world's largest fountains, Buckingham Fountain, a 3-level Rococo fountain that offers light and water shows typically from May to October. There's a lot that's going on in this area, and there's a lot I didn't cover, so I definitely recommend dedicating most of your day to get through all the touristy sightseeing. Next, stroll down this urban route that runs along the river for almost 3 miles, and stop along the way to take in the sights or have a bite to eat here at the Chicago Riverwalk. There's many restaurants, cafes, and bars located along the path, as well as small parks, boat and kayak rentals, a Vietnam War memorial, and more. Cross the long-standing drawbridge, honoring the aforementioned founder of Chicago, and decorated with sculptures and plaques, du Sable Bridge, to the other side of the river. There you'll find the famous Wendella Tours and Cruises. Started in 1935, Wendella offers Chicago's original architecture tour on the river. They offer a family-friendly 45-minute tour with an introduction to the city's architecture for $25. There's also a 90-minute tour for $42, where the experienced tour guides detail the 130-year-long history behind the city's skyline as you navigate through the heart of the city on all 3 branches of the river. It probably doesn't matter which tourist company you choose, but this is definitely one of the best things to do in the city. Another one of the city's top attractions, located on the water, used to be a former Navy training center, but now draws crowds with carnival rides, restaurants, shops, and fireworks, Navy Pier. Along with rides and places to eat, the Pier also has a funhouse maze, a botanical garden, and the Chicago's Children's Museum. Let's not forget an iconic part of the Chicago skyline, the Centennial Wheel, which recently replaced the old Ferris wheel and was open to the public in 2016. Visiting during the warmer months, or maybe you like to eat ice cream while it's snowing, like a psychopath, make sure to check out the original Rainbow Cone. This long-running seasonal ice cream shop first opened in South Chicago and has a location at the Pier. They serve cones, shakes, sundaes, and banana splits, but the 5-flavor sliced cone or cup, for which the shop is named, is their most famous item. A combination of orange sherbet, pistachio, Palmer House vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate are the same 5 flavors that they had when they opened back in 1926. The Pier is an absolute must if you're traveling with children, but it's also interesting with a group of friends or even by yourself. My personal favorite must-do tourist spot that I recommend to everyone visiting is one of the best live shows I've ever seen across all platforms. From its famous alumni to its history and comedy, you won't be disappointed watching any of the performances at Second City. The theater opened in December 16, 1959, and has since become one of the most influential and prolific comedy theaters in the English-speaking world. The Second City has consistently been a starting point for many comedians, like Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Eugene Levy, Mike Myers, Steve Carell, Jordan Peele, Tina Fey, and Stephen Colbert, just to name a few. Today, there's multiple different shows that run a day, from sketch and improv shows to musicals and even the best of Second City shows. The tickets range anywhere from $10 to $100 depending on the show, day, and time for general admission tickets. You can read in detail about each show on our website and buy tickets there as well. Before we move on, let's bring on an actual local to share some of their suggestions. Today, we have my friend Hillary, a social worker and yoga instructor in the Windy City. So let's see what she has to recommend. Hey Hillary, how's it going today?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. So we just wrapped up the tourist section of the video and we just got to get a few more spots from a local like yourself. What do you have to recommend?
So you definitely have to go check out the Art Institute, not just because it's a huge museum, it's downtown, it's super beautiful, but there's some really cool hidden gems in there, like the paperweight room. So when you walk in and go downstairs, The paperweights are very underrated and they're so beautiful. But then you have some of the classic paintings like the American Gothic, you have Nighthawk, you have the bedroom. One of the special things about the Art Institute is the lions outside. At Christmas time, they put wreaths around the lions' necks, and everyone likes to go check those out among all of the other beautiful Christmas decorations. Another catch with the Art Institute is the cafe. Very underrated, cool spot to have a glass of champagne, chill out, or grab some food. If you're looking for another really beautiful building to see and something that has a lot of special things inside, that would be the Harold Washington Library. Even just standing outside of it and looking up, you could stand there for so long looking at the gargoyles and all of the different details in the building. Just super exceptional. Good spot to study, good spot to just stop in. Obviously beautiful mosaics inside, but then the key is the winter garden, which I forgot which floor it's on, but I think it's the top floor. It has this beautiful, just like almost like an oasis, a hidden oasis in the city, very bright space where you can go and obviously just chill out, hang out with some people, but in the dark winter months, it is quite a gem.
Now, let's head to the recreational and nature section of the video. You could start your outdoorsy day by grabbing some shrimp and grits from the soon-to-be-mentioned Little Goat Diner, or you can make a smarter choice with today's sponsor, Magic Spoon, a healthy cereal that tastes too good to be true. If you're like me, you check a second bag just to bring the world's best sugar-free cereal. I start my day off right with a bowl. The frosted flavor's my favorite. I may even just bring it with me to go on my adventures. No, Jacob, not like that. That's better. Click the link below to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use the promo code VENTURE at checkout to get $5 off any order. Or go to magicspoon.com/venture. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Click the link below and use the code VENTURE for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/venture to save $5 today. Now, back to the video. Starting out the nature section, we have this elevated rail trail linear park running 2.7 miles east to west on the northwest side of Chicago. It's the longest greenway project of a former rail line in the Western Hemisphere and the second longest in the world. Bloomingdale Trail and Park, or the 606. This is Chicago's answer to New York City's High Line. Since it opened in 2015, it has been a haven for runners, walkers, and bikers. The path connects 4 of Chicago's neighborhoods with multiple access points throughout the 606. The trail also includes a series of street-level parks, scenic lookout points, an observatory, art installations, and a variety of other amenities. I'd recommend renting one of the bikes from the nearby Divvy stations, which is part of the city's bike share program. Next, we head to the city's largest public park, which stretches 7 miles and is the second most visited park in the United States, Lincoln Park. No, not that one. The park has so many features and facilities that there's just no chance I'm gonna get through all of them. But here's some highlights. There's a field for all sports. No, literally, the usuals, plus lacrosse, cricket, rugby, archery, you name it. A skate park, museums, and a theater on a lake. One of the top spots of the park is the Lincoln Park Zoo. Although it isn't as large as most city zoos, it's free admission, and it has areas dedicated specifically for kids. The Lincoln Park Conservatory houses thousands of plants, from tropical species to seasonal flowers, in a glass dome structure. Reservations aren't required, but are strongly advised, and walk-in reservations are accepted as long as space is available. Located next to the conservatory is a lily pool that was first built in 1889 to cultivate tropical water lilies, and is open seasonally from April to November. Visiting during summer, stop by the park's North Avenue beach. There's paddle boards and jet skis for rent, as well as several restaurants where you can eat or pick up food. There's also a couple hiking trails in the area. Initially, there's the Lincoln Park Trail. This path goes in a complete 5-mile loop around the whole park, and it connects to the Lakeshore Path. This section of the longer 18-mile lakefront trail runs parallel to the shore of Lake Michigan from North Avenue Beach to the Navy Pier. Whether you spend all day at the park or walking on the path, just make sure to head over to the coast just in time for sunset. Water sports are plentiful in a city that is both on the shores of a large lake and has a river running through it. Founded in 1997, they created the first Chicago River kayaking tour, Wateriders. While paddling through the heart of downtown, Wateriders professional guides provide a tour of the city's history and architecture. Tickets are $65 for about a 2-hour tour of the river. You can also rent a kayak and choose your own adventure for 2 hours, with tickets ranging from $60 to $70 depending on the day you go. They also offer a Ghost and Gangsters evening tour, sunset and moonlight paddles, and also a Navy Pier firework battle. This is kind of similar to the Wendella tours I mentioned earlier, except that you have to do all the work and there's a really good chance you can get hit by a boat. On the west side of Chicago is one of the largest greenhouse conservatories in the United States, occupying approximately 4.5 acres inside and out, and contains a number of permanent plant exhibits incorporating specimens from around the world, including some over 200 years old. Garfield Park Conservatory. Constructed between 1906 and 1907, the conservatory was conceived as a series of naturalistic landscapes under glass, which was a revolutionary idea at the time. One of the most popular rooms is the first presented to visitors, the palm room. In it are the over 7 dozen varieties of palm trees of the over 2,700 varieties known to exist today. There's also a fern room, which is the largest, as well as a desert house, horticulture hall, century garden, and so much more. Although reservations are required, it's free to visit. However, donations are appreciated. Not to brag, but last time I visited, I donated a whopping $10. So, the final nature recommendation is a 45-minute drive outside of town. It's not feasible to travel there by public transportation, so if you didn't rent a car, you may have to cross this location off your list. Located in Lisle, Illinois, this 1,700-acre nature preserve has a public maze garden, outdoor museum with a library, an herbarium, and program and tree research, the Morton Arboretum. The Arboretum's main goal is to collect and study trees, shrubs, and other plants from around the world and display them in naturally beautiful landscapes for people to study and enjoy, as well as to learn how to grow them in environmentally friendly ways. The living collections include more than 4,100 different plant species, and there's more than 200,000 cataloged plants. The Arboretum also doubles as a place of recreation and includes hiking trails, roadways for driving and bicycling, a 4-acre interactive children's garden, and a 1-acre hedge maze. If you want to see it all, there's the Big Rock Trail, which is a 6-mile loop that covers most of the Arboretum. The price of admission for the Arboretum is $16, with discounted prices on Wednesdays. Alright, it's finally food time. In order to do justice to Chicago's reputation as one of the best food cities in the US and its many well-known dishes, I'll need to make this section fairly lengthy, but trust me, it'll be worth it. Starting with cheesy tomato yeast pies, better known as pizza. While Chicago is most famous for a deep dish, most locals prefer tavern style, or thin crust. I'll get into both of those a bit more. But first, there's a third style to mention, stuffed, which is basically a deep dish with an extra layer of dough between the cheese and toppings. You can find stuffed pizza at Giordano's or its original home, Nancy's. Now let's dig into deep dish. It's typically made in a cast iron skillet or circular cake pan, which gives it its shape of crust on the bottom and up the sides. The toppings are then inverted from the traditional way we know pizza. After the crust, a layer of the cheese is applied, followed by the meat or other toppings of your choice, and finished with tomato sauce on top. Or to be better summed up by Jon Stewart,
cheese on top, the sauce, naked, cold, on display like some sort of sauce hooer.
There's many places around the city that offers deep dish, but these are my favorites. The place that started it all back in 1943 is Pizzeria Uno. They now have many locations across the city, but you'll only get the authentic stuff here or at Pizzeria Due down the street. Other fan favorites include Gino's East, Luminati's, and Pequod's. As for my personal favorite, it's Millie's Pizza in the Pan. Each of these places have their specialties and their own spin on deep dish, but Millie's mixes Chicago's deep dish with Detroit-style pizza and has a ring of caramelized cheese baked into the crust. Because this is a one-man show, only a limited amount of pizzas are made daily, so arrive early. Next is thin crust. This style has a thin, crunchy, cracker-like crust and is cut into squares to make it easy to share and hold a drink in the other hand. Although most tourists are trying deep dish when they visit Chicago, thin crust is definitely the locals' favorite style and slept on by visitors. The self-proclaimed #1 thin crust pizza in Chicago is the family-owned Pat's Pizza and Restaurante. My personal favorite is pizza fried chicken ice cream, known for their incredibly thin crust and Mikowski sausage. They also serve ice cream and fried chicken. but I'm sure you already got that from the name. But this isn't just some tiny pizza shop. Next door is the same family's Maria's Packaged Goods and Community Bar. Order your pizza and head over next door for a drink and plenty of seating. This combination and hybrid of places put together is top tier and definitely worth the 15-minute trip away from downtown. Another food Chicago is famous for: hot dogs. The Chicago dog consists of an all-beef frankfurter and a poppy seed hot dog bun, topped with mustard, relish, chopped onions, peppers, tomato, a dill pickle spear, and a sprinkle of celery salt. And whatever you do, do not put ketchup on a Chicago dog. Ever. This is deeply frowned upon by Chicagoans. Hell, most vendors don't even offer ketchup. As for where to find one, you can always try Portillo's hot dogs, which is the most popular. A bit overrated, but it has multiple locations and it gets the job done. There's also the Wiener Circle, which is notorious for its rude staff. Or you can not get yelled at and go to my personal favorite, Gene and Jude's. They're known for their depression dog, which is a Chicago dog stuffed with french fries. This place is kind of far and not in any space where tourists would hang out, but it's actually en route to and from the airport, so I would just make it the first or last thing you do when you visit. A maybe not so known signature Chicago food is the Italian beef sandwich. Topped with hot gardenia or sweet peppers, the sandwich is wholly unique to the city, and there's a lot of debate over who does it best. There's numerous delicious options all around town, but the one I'm recommending is Johnnie's Beef. It's not the original spot, but it's definitely the go-to. The line often snakes out the door, and there's a second location in Arlington Heights. There's also much debate over the best way to order the Italian beef, whether it's the type of peppers or with anjou or not. So order whatever sounds best or just get it the way it comes. Just don't forget to order an Italian ice to go with it. From Chicago's many famous foods to a well-known chef with many different and successful restaurants in the city, let's get to know Stephanie Izard. This top chef and Iron Chef champion has 5 different spots in the city. Let's check them out. Starting at Restaurant Row on Randolph Street. This strip located between Halsted and Ogden is lined with some of Chicago's best and diverse restaurants. One of the most popular restaurants being Izard's flagship restaurant, Girl and a Goat, which was opened in 2010 and serves up an innovative new American menu with ever-changing seasonal flavors and cocktails. Right across the street is Izard's new concept, Sugar Goat, which is a bakery serving classic and fun dessert options, and is right next door to Little Goat Diner, Izard's second restaurant and a modern-day diner with a large menu, serving up food like pork belly okonomiyaki, hot crab dip, and a paratha burrito made with Indian flatbread. Now you may be asking, what's with all the goats? Well, the chef explains, Izard is a mountain goat from the Pyrenees Mountains. So that's pretty much it. There's also Fulton Market, which is another area known for their restaurants. Here you can find Izard's Duck Duck Goat. This is our Chinese-American inspired restaurant located on West Fulton Market. The menu mostly consists of dim sum shareable plates, but don't skip the green beans, red braised pork belly, or their cocktails. Izard's 5th and final restaurant is located in the middle of Restaurant Row, Fulton Market, and Timeout Square, Cabra. This chic rooftop restaurant located on the top of the Hoxton Hotel offers Peruvian shared plates, cocktails, and views. While it's true that Izard is a major player in Chicago's restaurant industry, the city is also home to a slew of other chefs, like Rick Bayless, Grant Achatz, and dozens more. Next up, this elevated diner-style barn restaurant that has a passion for eggs is another one of the popular establishments that can be found on Restaurant Row, Au Cheval. This place is basically worth visiting for one reason, their world-famous burger. Just know that a single cheeseburger is actually a double is a triple, and if you don't add the egg and bacon, then you're doing it wrong. Other top items range from their fried homemade bologna sandwich to their foie gras served on toast with scrambled eggs. They also have a late night menu from 10:15 to 11:15 on Friday and Saturday nights. The bar menu has strong classic cocktails and a robust draft beer list that offers a wide range of neighborhood, domestic, and international selections. Now, this place doesn't accept reservations for some reason, but there's plenty of places nearby to kill time if you have to wait. Little known fact, Chicago's Mexican food scene is one of the best in the country. This is due of course to the fact that Chicago is home to the second largest Mexican-born immigrant community in the US after LA. The Mexican culture presence in the city is reflected in an array of easily found quality restaurants. My pick is 5 Rabanitos. Located a block away from the National Museum of Mexican Art, 5 Rabanitos offers authentic Mexican cuisine to be enjoyed in their colorful interior or on their newly opened patio. The menu isn't short on options to choose from, like their multiple dishes with pibil, which is basically a stuffed banana, the ahogada torta, which is a carnitas sandwich served in an arbol chili broth, or anything with their goat adobo. They also offer brunch on Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. to noon. Continuing the diversity of foods created in Chicago, we head to Logan Square to this relaxed counter-service restaurant serving authentic Puerto Rican food, Jibaritos y Mas. Jibaritos are sandwiches made with flattened, fried green plantains instead of bread, and topped with garlic-flavored mayo, stuffed with meat, cheese, lettuce, and tomato. Although the classic jibarito is served with steak, here they have many other choices of toppings such as chicken and shrimp, and even more unique options like blood sausage and octopus. The restaurant's name includes y mas because it offers so much more than just jibaritos. A few can't miss items are the alcuporria, which are banana dumplings, mofongo, which is smashed plantain balls with fried pork, and for dessert, pastelitos de guayaba. It's honestly incredible what these people are able to do with just plantains. And for the last spot on the restaurant list is an Asian American noodle shop and convenience store. I was gonna cut this one from the list, but it deserves a shout out just for its name. Phodega, literally a pho or faux shop located in a bodega. Due to that, there aren't many tables for you to eat at within the restaurant, but other than pho, they also offer 3 different chicken and rice options, multiple different snacks including fried chicken skin and egg rolls, and sandwiches like their Viet dip, which is basically a banh mi that you can dip in pho broth. Grab a bowl to go or at a table if open, and scoop up some snacks on your way out for the full Phodega experience. For coffee, how does a Japanese coffee spot in West Loop located inside a barbecue joint sound? This is the first coffee shop of the world-renowned barista and latte art expert Hiroshi Sawada at Sawada Coffee. Located in what was once the beer storage room of the barbecue joint, Green Street Smoked Meat, Sawada has a Tokyo feel to it, hidden behind a black door with a cartoon portrait of Sawada himself and up a graffiti-covered stairwell. Along with donuts from the Donut Vault, Sawada offers a short, curated menu of crafted lattes, cortados, and cappuccinos. If you're a lover of both coffee and tea, don't skip the military latte, which is a blend of Japanese matcha tea, cocoa, vanilla, espresso, and a hint of foamed milk. Or try their black camel latte, which uses a charcoal roasted green tea with espresso. There's a brick alley outside that connects Sawada to Green Street and other shops and restaurants, as well as picnic tables if you want to sit outside and enjoy a latte. For dessert, how about a bakery from a James Beard Outstanding Pastry Chef nominee, Eater's National Pastry Chef of 2016, and the Chicago Tribune's Pastry Chef of the Year in 2018, Aya Pastry. Chef Aya Fukai wanted to take her experience and quality of work that she utilized in Michelin star restaurants to create a more accessible shop to share her treats. You can choose from a collection of artisan breads, breakfast pastries, and desserts. The most popular item is the Samoa cake, which is her take on a Girl Scout cookie. Other highlights are the Queen of Man, a French buttery pastry, the scallion cheddar biscuit, and other savory treats. They also have a drive-thru that is open daily from 7 to noon and a pre-order option. Real quick, let's bring my friend Hillary back on one more time to see some of her restaurant recommendations.
First stop, you're gonna go grab some lunch at Jim's Original Classic Chicago spot where you're gonna get your Polish sausage, you're gonna get your pork chop sandwich. It's open late. The Maxwell Street joints are all over Chicago and they are a must-see and must-eat experience. Next, if you wanna have a nice date night, you wanna have some good drinks, maybe a good patio, because in Chicago we love patios for our 3 months of warmth. You gotta go to Tanta, which is a Peruvian restaurant. They have good cocktails. I highly recommend the arroz chaufats, so good. And yeah, they do a modern twist on Peruvian food and a really great ambiance. They also have brunch. Last stop, maybe for your nightcap, you'll head to Osito's Tap in Little Village. It is a speakeasy behind the family's large liquor store called Moreno's Liquors, which is really impressive and you should stop by in there. Head through the back door into Osito's afterwards and you will get some amazing craft cocktails and some gastropub Mexican food. They have vegan and meat options and it was voted one of the top bars in the world by Time Out. So you've got to go check it out.
Cool. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Moving on to the nightlife section. Let's start at this intimate Japanese cocktail bar. Here, food and drink are treated with equal reverence, and you could feel and taste the thoughtfulness and commitment that goes into the menu. Kumiko. Owner and mixologist Julia Momose blends Japanese ingredients and techniques to create an elevated menu of beverages and bites. To drink, there's a few flight options that are essentially deconstructed cocktails served in separate glasses so that you can appreciate the components and the creative process of mixed drinks. There's also a wide variety of cocktails available, which of many are based on Japanese ingredients like sake and whiskey. Numerous alcohol-free cocktails are also available. To eat, the menu is broken down into snacks, savory and sweet, with oysters, karage, and milk toast being the highlights. Make sure to reserve your table in advance, as the reservations book up quickly. Hidden below the busy streets of River North is a tiki bar serving flaming Polynesian drinks, offering over 200 plus rums from all over Central and South America, and luau-inspired food. 3 Dots and a Dash. Located down an alley off West Illinois Street, 3 Dots and a Dash transports you to a tropical place where it's perfect to escape a snowy winter day. The place is dimly lit and includes classic tiki decorations and mugs, but is more vibey than gaudy. Their island-inspired cocktail list is top tier and made with the freshest exotic fruits and spices and daily fresh pressed juice. The most popular drinks are the Panda and Painkiller, which is basically rum punch, and the Down Periscope, which is served in a shell bowl with dry ice. There's also a selection of group drinks that are always a fun option if you're going to be in a bigger group. There's also an outdoor patio and the Bamboo Room. That's a smaller area and focuses on rum drinks presented across multiple cocktail styles. Walk-ins are welcomed, but reservations are highly recommended. Located in Logan Square is this gin-focused cocktail bar that also serves other spirits, beer, and wine, as well as a limited food menu. From couches around a fireplace, stools at the bar, or seats outside on a patio, this spot accommodates all the vibes. Scofflaw. It's a paradise for gin enthusiasts, with nearly 100 different kinds of the spirit available, including virtually every kind of gin you can find in the state of Illinois. And of course, we can't complete a Chicago video without covering Chicago's most infamous tradition at many bars in the city, but if you've never tried Malort before, now's your chance. As a rite of passage, raise your shot glass full of what a Chicago Sun-Times reader describes Malort as a mixture of shame and regret being left to ferment before being distilled through an old sweaty shoe. Still better than Jaeger, honestly. At Scofflaw, lines get long on a weekend, so reservations are recommended. Or show up right when it opens at 5 p.m. However, if you're there when it turns midnight, they have a lovely tradition where they serve fresh-baked chocolate chip cookies to every single person in the bar. Next up, this relaxed, trendy bar features an award-winning, ever-changing cocktail menu, as well as nightly performances ranging from live music to DJ sets to film screenings and more. The Whistler. They literally have an Instagram page where they post their drink menu daily, as it does change often. The cocktails are reasonably priced for the quality of drinks you're getting. The Whistler is pretty calm when it first opens, but as the night comes and the live music starts playing, the small venue fills up pretty quickly. There's a nice patio out back if you like the space or don't want to get too close into the action. Most places like this charge a cover, but here there's no cover required. The last spot on this list is a warehouse-like cocktail bar, brewery tap room, and distillery all in one, located in Logan Square. Maplewood Brewery and Distillery. What started as just a production facility turned into a neighborhood staple. Maplewood has since expanded their distribution footprint into Missouri, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Kansas. For spirits, they distill a variety of gins, rums, whiskeys, and liqueurs that they sell by the bottle and use to create cocktails on site. They also offer creative canned cocktails such as the Palmer Square, which is a gin Arnold Palmer. For beer, they have year-round, seasonal, series, and limited options. You can check out their Instagram for their newest releases or select from a popular mainstays like Son of a Juice, which is an IPA with notes of tropical fruit, or their oatmeal milk stout, Fat Pug. Something I haven't really seen before is their very intuitive website that I highly recommend you explore before you visit. One feature is a barrel tracker for their spirits that tracks the aging history of all their barrels ever produced, as well as current barrels that are aging and awaiting release. They also show what specific beers are going to be available which months during the year, and also have an archive of all the beers they've ever brewed. Their hours are pretty much different every day, so just make sure to check that out before going. So Hillary, you know, Chicago is such a huge city in the US, important, cultural, one of the biggest. What would you say is something kind of looked over that makes Chicago so special to you?
Something that makes Chicago really special is the culture, especially of the Latino culture. It's very strong here. The restaurants are amazing. Lots of small family-owned businesses that you can check out. And I didn't know it before I came out here. You've got to go to Little Village. It's extremely underrated. They have amazing Mexican food, tons of great gifts that you can buy people, and just a really authentic family feel.
Y'all have such a beautiful flag that y'all seem to be insanely obsessed with. I see it on shirts. I see it hanging from every building and restaurant and liquor store. What's up with that? Y'all are obsessed.
Yeah, we really love the flag, so much so that it's tattooed on my body and many other people's bodies. It represents the resilience of our city. I think maybe that's why people love it, but anything to shout Chicago out and represent, I think people will run with it here. People are very proud to be Chicagoans.
I make surveys here on YouTube to let you, the people, pick the next city. So subscribe and keep an eye out for the next one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and while you're at it, comment which city we should do next down below.